This week on Old School Outdoors, we're back to the Double G for the rut hunt. Got my good friend Dick Salisbury from Odessa, Texas, and Mr. Tim Macy from Gun Owners of America. There he is. Come on, Pop.
First morning of hunting, fog had settled in, and I think everybody was surprised. We went ahead and went to the blind anyway.
I'm gonna put you some of that good candy corn out so they'll be coming to you.
7 o'clock in the morning, in a foggy morning, and we're in our blind waiting for the sun to come up and the fog to lift so we can see what we're doing and maybe find a deer. Oh, he's chased her clean up here now. He chased her up here. This one buck chased the doe all the way up here. He's trying to get her to hold still. They're running her back down the valley. There's 5 bucks down there right now, but none of them are shooters, but there's a lot of deer still out in the field, but just, it's too foggy to really get a good look at all of them.
There comes one that's about 8 or 10.
Well, the fog's never lifted this morning, and all the deer have fed for a while, and now they're off and gone, probably bedded down, so I think we're gonna go back and have a little breakfast and come back out later. Hopefully we'll have some sunshine then. We'll see.
Looked at their ears. I mean, if you got 2 deer at the same time and they both got the same size ears, I doubt both of them gonna be near there. Here you go, young man. I see you about dark 30.
We're here with Tim Macy with Gun Owners, who's come down to shoot a buck. And we're gonna shoot spikes or calls, whatever we can find. And one's just good as another, as long as we can help the herd, and that's what we're all about. I think he's down. He went straight down, didn't he? Yeah. He went straight down that way. Yeah, that's a big call because he doesn't have any brow point. He doesn't have any at all. So, good morning breeding. He's kind of young. He might have had better horns, but he would never be great. He's a good one to come off.
We're back in the same blind this afternoon that we were in this morning. We saw lots of deer this morning, but they were all in the fog, so it was real difficult. It's cleared off now. We're pretty excited about this afternoon and can't wait to see what happens. He's definitely the oldest deer we've seen here. So that afternoon of the first day, we saw several decent bucks and a couple bucks fighting, so that was entertaining. You don't get to see that all the time. We were in the early rut. We saw one buck that had real small G3s, and we thought this probably was a management buck. We wanted to check with Mr. Greg, make sure we didn't do something we weren't supposed to do. Went in that evening, talked to him about what it was, and he said, that's a management buck. If you want to take that buck, have at it whenever you're back out there. If he shows up, shoot him.
Give me 5 here, Papa. That's a Jim Dandy.
He really is.
That's a
If that
heck
thing
of a-
had bright time, what do you figure, a year and a half or 2.5?
I think he's probably 2.5-year-old deer.
Yeah,
but
but
he's,
he'd never be real good, but he
no,
was.
that is as good a management deer as a man ever
Yeah.
want to take right there.
We'll be right back here on Old School Outdoors. Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Backwoods Smokers, Natchitoches Meat Pies, Cordova Coolers, Extreme Hunting Solutions, Three Rivers Archery, and by Simmons Sporting Goods.
I'm the chairman of Gun Owners of America. We were founded in 1975 by ex-state Senator H.L. Richardson. I believe he was a little ahead of his time. Back then, there was no Institute for Legislative Action from the NRA. NRA obviously was around back then and long before. Senator Richardson was on the board of directors of the NRA, and he saw a need to lobby to protect the Second Amendment and also help pro-Second Amendment candidates get elected. So he actually, at one of the board of directors meetings of the NRA, asked the board if they minded if he would start a pro-gun organization dedicated to electing pro-gun candidates and lobbying to protect the Second Amendment. And the NRA's board of directors voted unanimously to let him start Gun Owners of America. So that's when we got it started. I called gun manufacturers, bullet manufacturers, powder companies, and asked these folks who owned them to be on our national board of directors. They all said yes, and we started Gun Owners of America, and about 6 months later we had 300,000 members, and people saw the need, and NRA also saw the need, so they also started a political side of the NRA, and together we've been fighting to protect the Second Amendment, two different organizations ever since. Morning of day 2, we saw lots of deer again in the field. Didn't see as many bucks that were close to being shooters as the first day. So we kept our powder dry, and we were waiting to see what else would happen. A little after 3 o'clock, we're already in the blindness. We've got a bunch of does in the field, and we're waiting for the bucks to show up. So the afternoon of day 2, we were first looking for a big shooter buck, and if we didn't find that, we were hoping that management deer that Greg told us we should harvest would come out. We just took the buck that was the one that Greg wanted to get off the property because he didn't want him in the gene pool. It's a pretty nice buck. It just didn't have the points and the eye guards and the things he's looking for in his herd.
We'll be right back here on Old School Outdoors. Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Backwoods Smokers, Natchitoches Meat Pies, Cordova Coolers, Extreme Hunting Solutions, Three Rivers Archery, and by Simmons Sporting Goods.
What you got there, Tim?
Well, we took care of your management situation.
That I am talking about. Wonderful, good deal, good deal. I'm sorry I'm late, but our buddy Brendan
I
had
suspect
3 deer down.
we were hoping that's why.
You know what I think we ought to do now? Miss Hall's got some chicken breasts wrapped in bacon that she cooked. I think we'll go back and we'll eat us some good, after all this hard work, eat some good food, and then we'll get this sucker skin out and put it in the cooler.
Sounds good.
How's that?
Sounds real good. And morning of day 3 started off foggy again, and we were hoping that the fog would lift enough that we'd be able to see what we were looking at. And man, right away we had several bucks in the field. We had some 8s, some 6s, and we were trying to get a good look at them in the fog, and we weren't sure whether we're going to be able to, shoot or not. We weren't sure if we could even see them good enough or not. And it lifted a little bit, and we decided to hold off on those. They were all good bucks, I'll tell you. That next year there's going to be a pile of them there. And then late yesterday morning, the fog lifted, and in comes a pretty nice 10, and then we're really debating, like, is this our buck, or are we going to hold off?
And a nice 10-point come in. Cruise right through, stop for a minute, and kept going, headed off out to her. Right out there. He was right on the ragged edge of should we shoot him or let him go, but he didn't give us a whole lot of time to decide. I think he's off running looking for does. Maybe back in a little while.
It was razor thin, I'll tell you. We were really debating, but we decided he was still a younger deer, and was going to have a better rack next year or the year after. So it was tough, let me tell you. It was my index finger on my right hand was getting awful itchy, but I held off.
Back in a different blind this afternoon, and looking for Mr. Big. We'll see what happens. We came in early because it seems like the deer are moving during the day right now because they're getting in the rut. So we're in the blind actually just a little after 2 in the afternoon. We'll be here till dark. See how many come in. Got a water hole to our right. Nope, here comes a buck right now, right out in front of us, coming right in.
He kind of filtered out of there and disappeared on us, and while we were watching other bucks come in. So he left, and we were debating whether we'd made a mistake or not. But we knew that other 10 was out there, and we knew some other big bucks were out there, so we held off. And it was another exciting evening, I'll tell you.
We'll be right back here on Old School Outdoors. Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Backwoods Smokers, Natchitoches Meat Pies, Cordova Coolers, Extreme Hunting Solutions, Three Rivers Archery, and by Simmons Sporting Goods.
If I wanted to join up to the Gun Owners of America, do you do that online, or how do you go about doing that, and how much does it cost for an individual?
Yes, you can go online, go to gunowners.org. It's very easy to sign up. $20 a year is a membership. If somebody wants to send more, praise the Lord. We could use all the help we can get.
Morning, day 4, just before daylight. We're back in the blind, waiting for the sun to come up. Today we don't have any fog this morning, so things should be happening a little quicker than they have been. We got enough light now to see good. We've got a bunch of does and 2 8-points out in front of us. We had a 6-point. He left. We're still looking for something bigger, so we have plenty of deer here. We just need the right one to come in.
We had about 14, 15 does in there with them. They started off filtering out. Now at this time, later in the morning, I was thinking, boy, maybe our day's already over, but here he comes. I looked over to the left, and coming in was Mr. Big. That's the one we're looking for.
This is a new one. He's substantially bigger than those others. Here he comes. Let's get on him. That's the one right there. Just give it a minute for him to get out of there. Well, we just finished our hunt off. He's got a good-looking buck. It looks like he's got some stickers on some of those horns. I'm dying to get down there and look at him. Came in. We had about 15 deer here earlier, and they started filing out. Look at all those points. That's a pretty Texas buck right there. That right there is why we waited 4 days. This is what we've been looking for every day. Seen lots of nice bucks on the Double G Ranch, but we didn't see anything like this till this morning. That's exactly what we were looking for. Beautiful Texas buck, nicest whitetail I ever shot on in Texas property, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate Greg Hall and the Old School Outdoors guys for having me down to hunt with them this week. It's been a ball. Seen lots of bucks every day. Nice ones, a lot of nice ones, but this one definitely was the one we were looking for.
Got the text. Go pick him up. Got a big 12 been hanging out. I don't know what he's got, but he's been hunting hard. I think if he's been waiting on the right buck, so I'm hoping this that big 12 we've been hanging out. He's a nice deer. Tim, good guy, president of Gun Owners of America, for the Second Amendment rights, constitutional rights. I'm happy he's out here hunting at the Double G this week on Old School Outdoors. I want to see a big buck die and see a grin on his face. make everybody happy, including me.
We've been looking for it. That's the one you've been. Hey, that's what told Dick. I don't want one of them little ones. I'm heading out for the big one. You did it too. You hunted hard all week. Stuck with it.
Yeah, pretty good to have him.
Yes, sir.
Out of blast.
That's a nice deer. I don't care where you from. That sucker's got some character to him too. Yes, sir.
Yeah, neato.
Look at that. Look at that sucker.
That is nice. Yeah,
He's got some.
he's got more character than mine does.
When I saw him coming.
Huh?
When I saw him coming.
You didn't have to pause.
No, I didn't have to think.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He's very nice.
The one what? That we passed.
I'll tell you, I've had a great time this week with the whole outdoors show, old school outdoors guys, and Mr. Greg Hall. I appreciate everything that they've done for me here this week. We have great food, great accommodations, fantastic deer hunting. I wouldn't pass it for the world. That's just kind of my own little promo on maybe someday getting invited back. The experience is one that, for somebody who's grown up hunting since I was 9 years old, couldn't be better. I really appreciate everything and all the guys that are here helping out.